Hello, my name is Rhonda Lawson, and I am the voice behind the camera at the New Hope City meetings. I am the creator of and the sole contributor to River Rat News. We are featured on Facebook and YouTube currently and expanding into other social media at this time. For those who don't make it to the meeting, I'm behind the camera to ensure video quality so that you can be a part of the meeting even though you're not there in person. I have a statement to read, so bear with me. Many viewers have stated after watching the videos of past New Hope meetings that it is clear some of the meetings are happening before the public meeting, meaning some sort of meeting is happening prior to the announced public meeting. Because A, there is little or no discussion on video before the vote. B, most of those discussions, if any, have been the result of questions from the citizens with little interest from the city board. C, the votes go on as if the questions were never asked. And might I also add, prior to the election, Vice Mayor Josh Lawson made the statement that he didn't see a problem with members of the board discussing things before meetings to make a decision. That's a paraphrased statement, not a quote. It appears that the other board members have no problem with this either. Providing a video that covers the time period from entry into the meeting room to the time of exit gives the watcher the complete experience that the videographer has. This is not harassment, and writing a critique of the meeting is not biased if it lines up with the recording and all laws set forth by the state and federal governments. To be clear, River Rat News is an electronic publication biased in favor of the citizens' right to know what the public officials and employees of New Hope have done in the past and may do in the future. The City of New Hope has started a new era with 3 new board members. The January meeting was the time to start out on the right foot. But the new administration started just like all the others, business as usual. The public should require that the board adhere to state guidelines at all times. The current board shouldn't be striving to be as good as the last city board. It should strive to be better. Past New Hope City boards have made many missteps through the years. It is unclear whether these missteps were intentional or accidental. Perhaps the past boards were ignorant of the state requirements. Today, the state has provided many online sources to prevent accidental errors, and all 3 new board members are far more computer literate than the past board members. The cries of harassment and assertions by the New Hope City employees and officials that River Rat News has published lies are completely unfounded. The United States is a democratic republic, not a democracy. Elected officials are to serve all citizens regardless of voter persuasion. And serving as a member of the New Hope City Board, as with any elected position, is a privilege that carries with it heavy responsibility. Within the legal profession, there has long been a philosophy. When the facts are on your side, hammer the facts. When the law is on your side, hammer the law. When neither the facts nor the law is on your side, hammer the table. And this appears to be exactly what happens at the city meetings when the public pushes for the truth. All members of the current New Hope Board were sworn in outside the public view of those in attendance for the public meetings. And dating back to 2020, our current mayor has been part of the private votes. In his previous position as alderman, which violates the Tennessee Sunshine Law. At this time, I would like to share a couple of quotes a very intelligent man made years ago. If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, he will by nature demand one. Second quote, history shows that it does not matter who is in power or what revolutionary forces take over the government. Those who have not learned to do for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any more rights or privileges in the end than they had in the beginning. These are quotes by Carter G. Woodson, and he's an admirable man, very knowledgeable man. It is the opinion of this writer that these timeless quotes are indeed colorblind. This writer believes all men and women have the right to know. As you will recall, at the January meeting, the mayor attempted to control both private thoughts and speech of a citizen in an attempt to prevent the sharing of public information. True freedom, true justice is the recognition of the civil rights guaranteed every legal citizen of the United States of America, regardless of color, gender, or political affiliation. Lady Justice wears a blindfold, holds a scale in one hand, and carries a double-edged sword in the other. These images all signify equality and justice, indicating that all people are equal in the court of the law. And life-altering decisions should be made with grave consideration, taking care to judge that facts, not conjecture, taking care to judge the facts and not conjecture, because judgment cuts both ways, and like the gladiator's sword, is weighted. Some elected officials have made it near impossible to access records or attend meetings so as to keep questionable acts hidden, putting their personal and political interest above interest of the citizens. All legal United States citizens are entitled to public information, and both the federal and state governments have created laws to address this issue. This writer is proud to say that River Rat News is merely the conduit by which information is conveyed. Sunshine cleanses, and the purpose of the state sunshine law is to clean up the darkest corners of the Tennessee government from the bottom up. In 1949, the state of Tennessee commissioned the University of Tennessee at Knoxville to form the Municipal Technical Advisory Service, or MTAS, for the training and education of all incoming and current city officials and administrative employees. There is also a County Technical Assistance Service, or CTAS, for the county officials. MTAS and CTAS provides classes, professional advisors, and even free online resources to help newly elected officials and administrative employees learn how to perform their duties adequately. There are paid classes and workshops available as well. It is the opinion of this reporter that some classes should be mandatory within the first 6 months of a term. Some of the free online resources are available to the general public in the form of a searchable database. In addition, the Tennessee.gov website has online access to the Tennessee Legal Code, the Ethics Office, the Open Records Office, and the Comptroller's Office. All information on these websites or website links are available to the public at no cost as part of Tennessee's effort to rip away the veil of secrecy that has long allowed political fraud, waste, and abuse of power by government officials and employees. The Tennessee Transparency Initiative resulted in the State Open Meetings Act, commonly called the Sunshine Law. Every state has a Sunshine Law, although Tennessee's Open Meeting Act is one of the most comprehensive in the country. Through the Tennessee.gov website, a person can also search legal opinions of both the Attorney General and the Tennessee court decisions concerning the legal spirit of the Sunshine Law. It is incumbent on the city board members to educate themselves to better serve the citizens, and it is the right of the citizens to require this. The Sunshine Law of Tennessee provides for one exception to the rule of public meetings. That exception is for meeting with city attorneys to inform the board of its legal options with reference to a future legal case or an ongoing legal case. This exception has a stipulation, though. The attorney can inform the board of its legal options, but cannot advise the board which action to take. The board, after meeting in private with the city attorney, must then schedule a special called public meeting with adequate notices posted in places where the general public would likely see them, and the notices must be placed within an adequate time prior to the meeting. To sum up the Sunshine Law, no secret vote on any matter is allowed, and discussion of all legal options must be laid out during a public meeting where the citizens in attendance are to have the option to voice opinions and ask questions prior to the vote. Failing this, the actions of the city council or city board during a private vote can be reversed. In the past, we as individuals have gone to the meetings when something comes up that affects us directly. This has allowed the New Hope City Board to do things we know nothing about until it's too late to possibly stop them. This is on us as a community, and bearing the weight of that reality is what prompted the creation of River Rat News, so the public now has a window into the public meetings. For example, confidential informants had told this reporter there was no way to stop the RV park in New Hope and that it was a quote-unquote done deal. After the first mention of the RV park, the community came together and the result was to stop the RV park creation. New Hope will now have the benefit of new property owners that pay taxes and have a vote in future elections rather than be burdened with the problems a leased or rented space RV park would have created and filled with visitors, not taxpayers or voters. The citizens need to be present, be informed, and be involved. Sadly, some people who want to keep up with what's happening in New Hope can't get to the meetings because of their work schedules or health issues. River Rat News began merely to inform the people, and in the course of informing the people, things were discovered that didn't look right. Some citizens don't use Facebook, and so the YouTube channel was created. Since the City of New Hope has ceased to publish state-required documentation, River Rat News has chosen to post meeting videos and other required documentation free to the public. The people of New Hope are not stupid. We know when something isn't right, especially when the board members vehemently fight to silence the source of the information. And when unable to silence the source, then try to discredit the source with baseless claims of harassment and lies. If River Rat News has published negative content, it is because the actions of the city administration has engaged in negative acts. It is true that street signs have been put back up, and hopefully some of the roads will now be repaired. The park will get 2 new buildings. The fire department will be getting better equipment and training, and new qualified police officers have been hired. These things are all good, but these things are just the minimum required to serve the citizens and to effectively manage the funds of the City of New Hope. When a person is hired onto a job, A supervisor trains that person in the minimum duties required to keep that job. The reward for doing what is expected is the gift of keeping that position. To get kudos or attaboys on a job, a person has to go beyond the minimum requirements. It's time to lay aside the philosophy that the New Hope city is just a little city, assuming our city is too small and our leaders are too ignorant or busy to be held to the rule of law. It is time that the citizens of New Hope require minimal training for all current New Hope board members and employees, regardless of how long they have been in service, and to require all public servants follow state law. Thank you.